Hello everyone, welcome to another Arthritis Help Movement Improvement session where you learn to move differently so you can feel better. I'm Dr. Dave, physical therapist, and today we're going to be talking about reaching up overhead. And reaching up overhead is actually a really complicated, biomechanically complex activity. It requires not only strength and coordination from a bunch of different muscles in the shoulder, but also the shoulder blade, and then the ribs and the collarbones, and actually the upper back as well. All of these things have to work together in order to allow you to easily, fluidly, seamlessly reach your arm up overhead. So it takes a lot of mobility from a lot of different places. It requires a lot of strength from a bunch of different muscles and coordination as well. And if any one of these things is a little bit limited or a little bit deficient, it will reduce your ability to reach, and it can cause pain, impingement, tendinitis, rotator cuff strain, or degeneration, and arthritis in the shoulder. So today we're going to be learning a few strategies on how to free up some of those aspects of reaching that don't actually involve the shoulder joint itself. We're really going to be spending a little bit more time working on that upper spine and chest and ribs area and seeing how when you free that up, that it can free up that whole ability to reach up overhead. For this session, all you're going to need is a chair to sit in and a wall to work with, and maybe a dish towel to help slide arms up the wall. But outside of that, no special equipment is needed. So let's get started. We're going to start seated in a comfortable, preferably firm chair, and you're going to be off the backrest, so you're not kind of leaning into the chair, but sitting up on your own. And you're going to take your hands and you're going to put them together in what looks like a prayer position, palms facing each other. You're going to keep your thumbs pretty close to your nose, and you're just going to reach your hands up overhead and see how high they go. This is just a little diagnostic to see how free your arms are and how easy it is to get your arms overhead. Don't push and strain to get as high as you can. You're not fooling anyone. And then just come right back down and relax. Okay? When you do this, a couple of things. You want to make sure that the thumbs, as you reach up, stay in this line by your nose, that they don't start to travel forward away from your head. And you want to make sure that the pinky sides of your hands stay together as you reach up. Sometimes it can be very tempting as you come up to let the elbows and pinkies come apart, and that gives you a little bit more freedom in the shoulders to reach the arms up overhead. It's a little biomechanically a little bit simpler, but it doesn't make for a great diagnostic to see what your true mobility is. So we're just going to do that one more time. We're going to bring the hands together, pinkies here, and then thumbs right by your nose, and you're just going to reach up towards the ceiling and just see where your comfortable endpoint is, not your maximum point, but the point where after that it's a little tough, it's a little effort to move. And for me, it's right about here, and then come on down. So obviously, I've got some room for improvement. Maybe you do too, or maybe your arms go straight up, and if they do, that's wonderful. So today we're gonna work on a few exercises to open up the chest and ribs and see if we can loosen some things up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to overlap one hand over the other, just like this, almost kind of like an I Dream of Jeannie pose, if you remember that show. And then we're going to rest the forehead right down on the arms, just like you're taking a nap, right? Like if you were going to take a nap at your desk, just let your head come there. And you're going to keep your forehead just always connected to your forearms or wrists. Okay, from that position then, we're going to reach the elbows and forearms out in front of you, and then we're going to rock back. Good. And you're going to feel to do this, the chest is going to have to open up. So we're going to kind of strive and reach those elbows forward and then rock back, making sure that you're not just rocking down, right? But the elbows are going to stay on the same plane. They're going to stay at the same height as you come forward. So you're not lowering the arms down to the knees, but you're reaching them out in front of you, and then you can even lift them up a little bit at the end. So those elbows and forearms are coming out and up, and then you're coming back and down. Try that again. Roll forward, out, and up, and then back and down. If your arms get tired, just take a break and relax in between. Make sure you're not feeling any pain or pinching in the shoulders as you go. Remember, rule number one, always be kind to yourself, always. So if you're feeling pain, just search for a different way of doing it, or maybe don't do it so intensely. Sometimes our own ambition to be good can be our undoing. So just try to go easy and smooth and try to find that easy path forward. Now, as you're in that position and you move forward, I want you to think about your breastbone and your chest, and as those elbows come up, if you allow that breastbone to kind of open up or almost drop towards the floor, it'll help you to lift the elbows, hands, and head a little bit and come on back. You also need to be able to kind of arch the low back a little bit. Let the belly come forward, let the chest come forward. And as you reach up, good, nice and easy, not as hard as you can. Don't cause pain, don't cause spasm, don't cause strain. Just see if you can coax yourself into a freer position where the chest comes up and the elbows come up a little bit more easily. Good. A few more times, rock forward. Feel that breastbone drop down. Feel the elbows, hands and head come up. You can even almost look up to your brows with your eyeballs. Sometimes that helps you. We'll just do one more. Sometimes that helps you to open up the chest. So we're going to come forward from the hips, from the belly, from the chest, from the elbows, from the eyes, from the head, and come back down. Nice and easy. Woo. And relax. If those shoulders are a little tired, give them a chance to rest. Excellent. We're going to add one variation to that stretch now, but already you should feel like maybe you feel a little bit more expanded in the chest. You feel a little bit more upward, a little bit more open. Okay, we're going to add a variation to that now. So it's the same exact start position, arm over arm, but this time let's do the opposite, arm over the other, just to add a little bit of variety. So for me, right hand was on top, so I'm going to put left hand on top. My forehead is going to go straight down, and it's crazy glued to my wrists, crazy glued to my forearm. And then we're going to reach out again, belly forward, chest forward, reach the elbows out and up. And then when I get kind of near my end point, I'm going to do a little twist. So I'm just going to dip my left elbow and lift my right elbow so I can look towards the right, and then I'm going to come back and come back down. Good. I'll relax my arms, bring them back up, and I'm going to reach out forward to my comfortable end point, and then I'm going to twist almost like a plane that's banking a turn. I'm going to lift one wing and drop the other. With my eyes, I'll look almost towards my right elbow, and then I'll come back and I'll rock back down. I'm just going to do one more and roll forward. Feel my belly come forward. Feel my chest unroll. Feel my elbows striving forward and looking almost upward. And then look over my right elbow, twisting and turning, and come back and relax. Good. When we add that little turn component, it just has a little bit of extra mobility required from the vertebra in that mid-back, and also the ribs have to kind of open up on one side and kind of compress down on the other. So now, of course, we're going to do the same thing going out, and now turning to the left. So we'll flip-flop the hands again. I'm going to put the right hand on top this time, but whatever hand you had, just use the opposite. Drop your forehead down, and we're going to reach forward from the belly, from the chest, reaching those elbows forward out and up. Feel the breastbone drop kind of in between the arms, and then I'm going to look into my left and see how well I can twist to the left. And for me, that left feels a little bit more limited than the right. And try to get that sense of feeling for you. We're just going to rock forward, belly forward, chest out and up to whatever your comfortable endpoint, not your final endpoint, but your comfortable endpoint. And then turning. And we're never adding intensity. We're always just trying to find a smoother, easier place. We're trying to find a new place to move from instead of adding more intensity and adding more from old places that are familiar to move from. And one last time. Rest your head down, reach those elbows out, feel the belly drop down, chest lifts up, look under that left shoulder, turn, and come back, and relax. Excellent. Just get a sense of how upright you feel, how enlarged you feel at the chest and shoulders. Good. And feel if you're sitting a little bit taller, a little bit more open. I was going to end things there, but I decided, you know what, let's add one more bonus exercise to help open up your chest, shoulders, and upper back. So for this exercise, you're just going to have to find some wall space that you can work to where you can rest your arms on the wall. So let's head over In this exercise, you're just going to need a wall that you can lean up on. So you're just going to put your elbows and forearms just comfortably on the wall, just like this, right? You want nice contact with the pinky sides. You don't want to be flat with the palms or with the hands, but pinky sides. And then elbows about shoulder width apart. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to press your elbows into the wall and round your upper back out by splaying your shoulder blades and kind of spreading your shoulder blades apart. Okay, so you want to push and spread those shoulder blades apart as you come through. What you don't want to do is you don't want to push and stick your butt out. You almost want to kind of curl your butt in or lean in with the hips and push out with the shoulders, and then you're going to sink in with the shoulders and push out with the shoulders. Good. It's almost like a variation of a standing cat-cow, but you're not going to move your hips. You're just moving those shoulders, and we're just going to do a few of those. And you're just going to spread those shoulder blades apart and almost pushing your elbows into the wall, not sticking your butt out, and then you just kind of sink into those arms. Good. We'll just do 3 more, and that's just going to free up the chest and shoulders a little bit, feeling for that rounding and that opening and rounding and opening, and then just relax your arms if they get a little tired from being in that position. If they're uncomfortable up in there, you can bring the arms even a little bit lower, and you can work at different angles. You can come up a little bit higher and try them from there. So I'm going to go a little bit lower and just move from that position and feel what it feels like when those elbows are lower than shoulder height. A few times really thinking about spreading the shoulder blades apart and then coming in and spreading apart. Good. And then I'm going to move the elbows just a little bit higher than the shoulders and feel how now I have to move from a whole kind of different part of my spine. So by adjusting the height of my arms, I get to move from a different place in my spine. Always remembering it's not about the hips. I'm not pushing the butt out. I'm not rounding my low back. I'm rounding from the upper back and down. Good. And relax and shake out those arms. Excellent. Okay, the next exercise, you may need a small towel, which magically I have right here. And you're just going to take that towel and you're going to place it on the wall just to make it a little bit easier for the arms to slide. And we're just going to, we're going to start just with one arm actually. Keep your body square, and you're just going to reach up the wall and feel yourself turn and then come back. This will be a kind of a little bit easier one, a nice warm up where that arm slides up. The feet are square to the wall. As the arm comes up, we're going to turn the body away and come back. Right? This, if you're a swimmer, you know this motion very well. Kind of reach and turn. You want to make sure that as you're reaching up, that you're not bringing your belly or your hips into the wall. And let your eyes look at your hand and feel that as you look up with the eyes, it helps you to lift your chest and raise that arm. Just going to do 2 more. Raising up and down. Good. And I'm going to switch to the other hand. I'm going to have this just to help me slide. And we're not going to bring the arm out to the side. It's going to stay in line with the shoulder. It's going to reach up. I'm going to look up, and I'm going to feel my torso turn away and come back. And this just gives a little bit of an ease or an advantage to the shoulder as you raise up. Make sure we don't get any pinching or any pain in the shoulder as we reach. Feel the chest lift up as you go. I'll do 1 more as we turn and come back. And that's a nice little warm up for this final exercise here, where we're going to keep the elbows and forearms again about shoulder width apart, resting on the wall. But this time we're going to move both together so that we have to stay looking at the wall, and we're going to reach up wherever you can go and then come down. You want to make sure that you don't let those elbows come out. That's a bit of a cheat. We want to keep those elbows in, even the hands out. You can put a little tension at the top of the towel and a little bit of slack at the bottom to keep those elbows in and fists out, and see if you can reach as you look up and open up your chest and come on down. Just move into whatever direction is possible for you. Nice and easy. Feel the breastbone lift, feel the eyes lift, feel the heart lift as you come forward. Good. And then come back. Try not to arch the back. Keep that low back kind of neutral. You can lean into the wall a little bit as you're reaching up. Don't let those elbows come out. And come down. Stay on the pinky sides of the hands and sides of the arms. If you feel like you're starting to deviate or twist away from that, don't do so much. Work a little bit less. Stay where you are. Sometimes it's good to just stay there and relax. Turn off the muscles in that position. Play with body position. Good. I'm going to do one more as we bring it up. Good. And come down and relax. All right, excellent. And now we're just going to come back to sitting and we're going to retest and see what our mobility looks like compared to when we started. Okay, let's do a final check-in and see how much easier we move. We're going to have the hands in that prayer position. Slide the fingers up, looking up to the ceiling, reaching up and seeing that you can get a little bit further as we come up and come down. I know I'm feeling a little bit freer. I'll try that one more time. I'm going to reach the arms up. I'm going to look up through it. I'm going to feel how my chest lifts, how my arms come up, and how much more mobility, how I can get those hands up overhead and then come right back down. Well, I hope that helped you realize how much you have to integrate using your chest into lifting up through the shoulders, that it comes from the breastbone, from the ribs, everything coming up, that if we keep things sunken down, that we wind up limiting ourselves and getting stuck. But once we can lift, we can move a little further through. Something to think about next time you're reaching up to the cabinet to get those plates down or getting a cookie off the shelf from the cookie jar. Thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to thank yourself for taking the time and making the effort to do the things that are going to make you feel better. I'm Dr. David Sofer. This is Arthritis Help. Join me next week with a whole new video where you'll learn how to move differently so you can feel better. Take care, everyone.